What doesn't make sense?
How God can give kids cancer and everything.
Oh, so you think that God gave kids cancer?
I mean, I think God would prevent it, right?
Well, not necessarily. God has given us this planet as a kingdom for us. We were essentially made gods of this kingdom. Like, for example, the Old Testament says that Adam and Eve were brought to the Garden of Eden, right? We were supposed to be the owners of this world.
Yeah.
But what essentially happened is that Adam and Eve disobeyed God. In their disobedience, they denied themselves the protection of God. Because obviously, if I deny my father, my father has to punish me. So how were we punished? We were given control over the entire planet. But what's happened is, we can't control the planet. So the planet in itself is damned, it's cursed. As the Bible says that God cursed the land. So when it comes to diseases like illnesses and curses, and even when it comes to, like, for example, people being sick or even terminally ill children, that's all due to us because of our continual sin. So when it comes to, like, for example, have you ever lied?
Yeah.
Have you ever stolen anything?
No.
You've never stolen anything? Not even a little pencil? Not even anything?
No.
Okay, have you ever had sex outside of marriage?
Not yet, no.
Not yet, fine. Have you ever watched pornography?
Yeah.
Right, have you ever hated somebody you didn't like? So let's
Hated?
Yeah, he just hated somebody.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, right, the 10 Commandments is this: thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit murder, thou shalt not commit adultery. These are a few of the 10 Commandments. There's just a few of them, right? If God on the last day judges you by those facts, how should he judge you? Should he judge you as guilty or not guilty?
What are the 5?
So the 5, so the 10 Commandments are: thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Thou shalt not set up any graven images. So you shouldn't set up any images of God, right? You should love your neighbor as yourself, right? And you shouldn't commit adultery. You shouldn't steal, and you should honor your parents. I think there's a few others, right? Off the top of my head, can't remember them, but that's a few of them, right? If God judges you by these precepts, right? What would he judge you as? Guilty or not guilty? How would he judge you? Guilty. So if he judges you guilty, where should he rightfully put you?
Hell.
In hell, right? But how would you possibly get out of that?
How would I get out of hell?
Yeah, how would you get out of that?
But I feel like if you're not a bad person and you're not consciously willing to hurt someone, why would you go to hell?
Well, the Bible says that only God is good. Right? So everything that, for example, adultery, stealing, lying, we've all done it. That's the thing. We've all done it. But God does not do any of these things.
But it's not in
so
the way to
essentially,
hurt
So essentially, what is good is based upon God alone. But because we can't all say we're good. For example, if I say I'm good, what am I basing that upon? Am I based upon what I think, or what you think, or what the country I'm living in thinks? For example, in Saudi Arabia, there's no age limit for marriage. In this country, that would be seen as a morally wicked thing. For example, children. For example, if they give birth to a child, for example, 13-year-olds, if they give birth to a child, it can severely harm them. It can have detrimental effects on their health and well-being. Now, that would be a bad thing, wouldn't it? Surely. But in Saudi Arabia, there is no age limit for sex and marriage. So that's a problem. So we can't come up with our own conclusion about what good or evil is. There's only one good. And what I'm saying is that God is that good. And his precepts, the 10 Commandments, are what he keeps to. So when including me included, yeah? When I deny those things, when I break those things, when I lie, steal, or commit adultery, I'm doing that which is evil, not good. You understand what I'm saying?
But that's only for Christians, right?
No, it's for everybody. That's the truth.
But our book in Hinduism doesn't state the same command.
Oh, you're Hindus?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You didn't explain that. So so tell me about Hinduism. What do you believe about it?
We wouldn't be able to tell you anything.
We've not read the book ourselves, but basically our book just states that you need to be a good person. We're not stopped from doing anything.
But what does good mean?
Good just means not harming anyone in any sort of negative way. I don't think lying is completely... What if it's a white lie and it's to protect someone and it's not harming anyone at all?
What do you mean,
I don't think I'm a bad person.
So for example, if I go to somebody's business, let's say I'm a hungry person, I've got no money, I go to somebody's business and I steal maybe a packet of crisps or something, right? Would that be a good thing?
No, that's wrong.
Why would it be wrong?
Because you're going and you're stealing something from them.
What if I'm going to be taking that, let's say that packet of crisps or something else, and I'm giving it to a starving family who essentially has no money
But
and no
why
way
can't you honestly go and ask the person that I want to give it to a family, please, can I have
That's one way of doing it, but what if I did and they said no?
That's his thing, then you don't do it, you don't steal it, right?
Why would that be a bad thing? I'm essentially doing something that's for the greater good. A starving family needs food.
But you're harming the business because you're stealing something from them.
But that's the point. This is where it comes to the conclusion. What is good? Because Me feeding that family is
Yeah,
good,
of course,
but
yeah.
also me not harming the business is good. So who determines which is good?
The world would cease.
I mean, yeah, I get it, but also I don't agree as such.
What I would say is Hinduism has a 45 round. For example, in Hinduism, if you are Hindus, are you into? Yeah, in Hinduism, you believe in reincarnation.
Yeah.
So you believe we come back, and we come back due to our faults. For example, let's say I'm a rapist or a murderer, I would come back either,
Lizard or something.
yeah, either a lizard or whatever, like whatever.
That's not what it is.
Example.
No. Once you turn human, you do not turn anything else after that. That's what it says in the Bhagavad Gita. Once you've come back as a human, it means you've beat all of your sins, and now you're human. You'll be human for all of your lives after that.
So you'll come back as a human, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's say I come back as a human girl that's going to be raped. Let's say I rape. Listen, it's the worst example ever. But let's say not me. Let's say somebody rapes a little girl, right? Right. Let's say that person comes back as a little girl that's been raped. Where's the justice?
No, but that's how it is. So in Hinduism, we believe that when you go to heaven or hell or whatever that is, and you have to face your sins, it's not like you're not going to come back as a healthy person. You'll have to suffer in your next birth. So today I'm me because I must have done good sins in my past to have come back as a happy, healthy, rich, good, everything is perfect in my life because I've had good sins in my past.
Right, but the
That's
problem
why
with
I'm living the perfect life.
the problem with that, the problem with that is if let's say like I'm a rapist or something, and I do that sin, right?
Yeah.
And I return to Earth as a little child that's going to be raped, right?
No, you won't return to Earth as a little child. You'd probably return as, I don't mean to be rude, but you'd probably return as a beggar or something like that because that's bad upon.
But how is that just? I committed a sin which essentially led to somebody being harmed, and I'm coming back as somebody who's begging on the street. That's not equal.
I don't think we have enough experience because we've not read our Bhagavad Gita enough to be able to say that. But
I'm saying outside about. I'm talking about your own senses. If I go out there and commit, let's say I'm Hitler and I go out there and commit a genocide of many people, I come back as a beggar. How is that fair? If I come back as a person being murdered, let's say I come like the whatever Hindu god there is, right, sends me back as someone who's being murdered. How is that fair? Because obviously I don't know what I committed in the past.
Yeah.
I don't have knowledge to that, so I don't even suffer for what's happened.
But you
So
won't live a
essentially,
happy life. You won't have a happy life.
but the problem is I don't suffer for what I did because the person who did it doesn't even understand what happened.
But then that's for anything, right? Because you would face justice. Then it's upon the justice system to give you justice for what you've done wrong. A rapist faces
But you know,
life imprisonment for a reason.
but you notice when if I do a crime today, right, and I get arrested for it, the I that's doing it is going to be arrested for it, and I would get punished for it.
Yeah.
But what Hinduism says is that no, you'll be reincarnated into a new body with a new mind. You won't know the past,
Because
and therefore you won't.
They
Yeah, but
believe that
regardless-
everyone deserves
So that-
a chance.
Yeah, but regardless,
Everyone-
your
yeah, but-
current self is still getting punished for whatever
Yeah,
deed
your
you've done.
current self.
But you won't know you're being punished. Therefore, the punishment doesn't work. If you know your actions, you will turn away from them.
No, you don't
It
get what I
do-
mean. You don't get what I mean.
Right,
For
well-
example, I'm a Hindu, right? And if, God forbid, I ever rape someone, but if I do it, and regardless of me being punished in my future life, in my next life,
Right.
I'm still going to be punished for it in this life as well.
Yeah, but
You
you're.
don't know about it in your next life. Why would it matter to be punished in your next life? Then that's for your next
But
life.
that's a problem because if I didn't know what I did in the past life, and I was born again, and I just like imagine I became a child, I grew up in a normal family household, then I became a beggar for some reason, right? It means nothing. The punishment's not there. I'm not suffering for what I did in the past.
Yeah,
If
but-
I was Hitler, I was Hitler in the
punishment
past.
in your previous life, right?
Sorry, again?
You faced your punishment in your previous
By
life.
the
If you're
government,
reborn
by
as
the
a
law.
child, why would you be born as a rapist?
No,
For
no.
example, in the example
Yeah.
of rape, why will I be reborn as a rapist?
Okay, so you're confused with what I'm
It's a
saying.
new start for me.
You're confused with what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, look, if I today committed a mortal sin, like for example, I went out there and murdered somebody, raped
Yeah.
someone, right? And then I died, let's say 2 weeks later, right? I'm not punished when I die. I'm punished after I've been reborn in a body in which I don't know what I did in the past. That's unfair. It doesn't make any moral sense. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I just
Yeah,
have one
but
question
that's
for
just
you.
about
Is
our-
the purpose of this whole thing, is it like to get people to convert to Christianism or like,
What I'm saying is Christianity makes more moral sense than Hinduism because in Hinduism, you're being punished for a sin you didn't even know you committed. In Christianity, you're being punished for what you did in this life.
I don't
in
think
my-
we believe that because we're
in my
Hindu. We're
opinion-
very culturally oriented. So to us, we would never believe
No,
that.
for,
because
for what you show me is if I committed a mortal sin like rape and I came back,
We
I
don't
would be
have enough
punished for
knowledge
that
It's the
sin.
to be
whole
able
point
to
of this
tell
to
you
tell us that our
anything.
culture is wrong and our religion's wrong.
No, what I'm saying is there is a right way. I'm saying there's a moral foundation it's
But
found in
you're
Jesus
telling us that
Christ.
our religion's wrong, right?
Yes,
I'm sorry, but we
I
can't
don't want to
stand for
participate
that.
in this conversation.
it's the truth. I'm not going to lie to you
For
because I
you, it's
can't.
the truth. But for us, it's not the truth.
But
For us,
your
Hinduism is the way
your
to go.
truth makes no sense.
For us, your truth
Would
makes
make
no sense.
Hitler. What your truth would make Hitler would mean that Hitler would eventually become a prince.
But for us, your truth might not make as much sense. So that's
if
why
anyone
we'll
wants
go
to
ahead in
convert
our way,
religions,
you'll go ahead in
they'll
your
do it
Your truth
themselves.
means that
You don't
Hitler
need
can't be
people to
punished.
convince people on the street.
I don't think it's right to look down upon other religions. That's what I think.
But it's not a religion. It's an ideology.
If anyone wants to convert religions, they'll do it themselves.
Here's the thing. I'm not trying to force you to do anything. I'm saying, look, there's one
You
truth.
guys being out on the street
You lot
and
don't have the
convincing
truth.
people to change their religions, it doesn't make sense.
It's
in my
wrong
opinion.
to.
It makes
it's wrong
more
to
sense
look
than you
down
think.
upon other religions and cultures.
No, it's right to. For example, if I believed in Satanism, the idea you could sacrifice babies to get into Lucifer's kingdom, would that be okay?
Okay, anyway, cheers now. Thank you. Take care.
And you see, Hinduism, false religion. I want to go into the idea of reincarnation because I went into like a preaching right, but basically, look, the idea of reincarnation makes no logical sense. This is why, because you're not being punished for the sins you committed. Essentially, if I die today, let's say I go out and commit a robbery, somebody gets killed or whatever, I go out and murder somebody. I die today. I come back as a person that's murdered. Essentially, I'm not aware of the things I did in the past, so the punishment has no effect on me. Essentially, I'm just a new person being punished for something I essentially didn't commit because I'm in a new body. That's not fair. It's not fair that somebody continuously gets punished or rewarded for different things they've done in their past lives. Because then what we would have is eventually Hitler, if he reincarnates enough times, would eventually become a prince. Which, I'm sorry, it's not just. It's not loving. The God of the Bible, at least, it says in the Bible that it was, what's the word again? Great, think about it. So basically what happens is, there is one time for dying and then comes the judgment. Sorry, I'm flipping the words, but that's what the Bible says. So you die once and then comes the judgment. So that makes perfect sense to me because in this life, if it's all we've got, then you'll be judged for the sins you commit in this life. And what you choose to do in this life matters. Whereas in Hinduism, nothing you choose to do in this life matters. Nothing at all. You can go out and commit murder, that's fine. You'll be punished in the next life in the body and you won't understand what happens, you won't even know it. In fact, you'll be a completely different person. So the person who's actually being punished for the situation isn't the same one that did it. So the Hitler in the past life, when he becomes Gerald in, let's say 2023, is being punished for something he doesn't even know what happened. And then in life after that, if he lives the supposed good life, which he's not aware of, then he'll become a prince. Is that fair? Is that loving? Is that just? No, God is fair and loving and just. But anyway,